I joined Dynasty as a bassist. At first, the band was called Dynasty. Later, it became Dynasty Electric when we started adding like the program beats. And so at first, Seth needed a bass player for his avant jazz punk rock trio. So there was a drummer, and then me on bass and Seth on saxophone. Then one day I just mentioned to Seth that I sang as well, and maybe it'd be cool to incorporate some vocals and some songs. So yeah, that's how it started, and he said, oh great, let's give it a shot.
In 2003, we were just getting started playing pop music, and we were coming out of avant-garde jazz and punk music. So I had only written jazz compositions and experimental compositions until that time. So beginning in 2003, I just had to learn a whole new lexicon of music and a whole new vocabulary, basically, of songwriting, and I started playing more guitar as opposed to saxophone. So I've really expanded musically in the time since then, and incorporated computer music and electric guitar and synthesizer into my work. And coming into this project, I was a saxophonist, and as a result of everything we've done in the last few years, now I'm really expanded my musical universe.
Music was just always something that I really enjoyed. I remember ever since I was a small child, just dancing on my father's footstool and singing and performing. It was just always something I liked. And when I was a kid, my grandma had a player piano. You know, the ones that have the scrolls that just play automatically, and I loved that thing, and I started playing keyboard a few years later, and I had these like children's tapes of like musicals that I used to memorize. And yeah, then later on in junior high school, I met a few other girls that were singers in choir, and we enjoyed singing together, and we loved the Beatles, so we ended up starting like a Beatles cover band, like all girls, in high school. And we actually went over to England and played in England at the Cavern Club and at a big like Beatles convention. I was playing music performing in junior high school and then in high school, and then I stopped doing it for a little while to go to college. So I'd say, yeah, for a while I guess I wondered, is this like a viable profession or whatever, and then I just was drawn back to it. It wasn't even really like something I was deliberating, it just happened.
I've been in love with music ever since I was 5 years old, and first got a little radio, and I used to carry around my radio obsessively everywhere I would go and anywhere I'd go with my parents. I always had my little radio with me, and I always wanted to be a musician, and I never had any other musician friends growing up that I could start a band with. And so I kind of forgot about my idea during high school, and kind of like Jen's story, like I was interested in music and wanted to be involved in music, but you know, these kind of concerns about getting a quote-unquote real job or whatnot, or you know, is it a viable profession, and finding other musicians was a challenge. But when I went to university, I started playing saxophone, and I linked up with one of my professors who was a great jazz saxophonist, and I ended up just having a completely transformative experience where he invited me to come improvise music with him one day, and I had never improvised music before, and all of a sudden I was communicating on a telepathic subconscious level with the other musicians, and I started playing things I never had played before, didn't know that I knew how to play, and was having I felt psychic messages about when to stop, for instance, about what to do, that I was actually channeling the other artists that I was working with. And this was such a transformative experience that literally I feel as if the door of music opened up to me, and I stepped through the door, and I just have never been able to look back.
If vibration is like the core center of universal being, then it's just creating vibes that are uplifting to people, inspiring, helping them to become more of themselves.
Our music is really about self-empowerment and transformation, and basically the belief that anything is possible. So our music is really about the personal inner revolution and powerful self-transformation. And you know, we weren't born with silver spoons in our mouth, and no one handed us any particular advantages over anybody else. And we just believed in what we were doing, and continued to write songs that reflect this idea that we can do anything and be free and transform ourselves. And ultimately, that's really the message that we're trying to convey with our music, is one of self-empowerment and personal transformation.
Also around the time when I started playing bass, I heard a Bjork album, and I was just so blown away that, you know, music could be something that was really just fun and inspiring, but also something that had like a cosmic message in it, something that was just universal and transcendental. So that, I feel that really inspired me to get back into music. It was homogenic, still one of my favorite albums ever.
Music itself really keeps me going. I find it as like a food for the soul, that just the music itself continues to keep me inspired, and the infinite possibility of combination within music is so exciting to me. It just keeps me always fresh and stimulated. In the Tao Te Ching, there's a saying that's something to the effect of, there's only 5 notes, but an infinite number of variations or combinations of those 5 notes. And that's really what music is. I mean, now in our Western chromatic system, there's 12 notes. Doesn't matter how many you call it, there's still an infinite number of combinations of those notes, and there's no 2 songs or 2 melodies which are exactly alike. And just the simple rearrangement of these elements can produce such dramatically different results. So I find it just a ceaselessly fascinating field to be involved in. So the music is what really keeps me going.
It's given me the opportunity to connect with and collaborate with so many incredible artists and business people and organizations. And so I feel, and just meeting so many people all of the time is one of my favorite things about it. And then also seeing all of these different places in the world, wherever we travel to perform. So yeah, it's just expanded my world in every way.
One of the great things about playing music is that music is enjoyed everywhere around the world and is a universal language. So music has really taken us to all sorts of different places around the world, and everywhere you go, people want to listen to music and dance and have a good time. So we've been really fortunate, and I've been able to travel all around the world just from playing music and as part of the profession. So it's just allowed us to see the world physically. Also, as Jen was mentioning, to just grow personally as well, as a human and as an artist. So I really feel like I owe everything to music.
I Wide Open is our new single off of our new record. It's a self-titled, so it's just called Dynasty Electric. And it was just something that, the words were just something that came to me very spontaneously. And it's really just about opening your awareness and just being open to intuition. You know, it is the third eye, it's the 6th chakra, and it's just everyone becoming and being aware that we all have this ability to communicate intuitively and to live our lives on in a more expansive way, more peaceful and compassionate and connected way.
We're really happy to have produced our new video, Eye Wide Open. In the past, our music videos have always been of the sort where we get together with the director and there's no budget and we figure out how to make it happen anyways. And so the big advantage to this particular project was that we were able to hire the director of our choice and put together a budget for him to work with and actually execute the project that we had in mind, as opposed to just figuring out how to make it happen without any resources. So that it's been really amazing, and we're really grateful for that opportunity.